What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I have another reaction style video for you today. I think I got a good mix of funny and serious and thought-provoking videos that have either been sent to me or I've stumbled across them and thought, hey, I should react to that. So before we get into that though, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I drop one long form, usually a thought-provoking video each week, and then one of these reaction style videos as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this first video is called How to Stop Feeling Guilty When You Take a Day Off by Simon Sinek. All right, let's react to it.
For the people who are perennial hard chargers,
Yep.
how do you advise them to just relinquish a little?
I think of everything in terms of cost, right? And like I always say, what's the cost of this? Always.
Mm-hmm.
Everything
has a
what is
cost.
the cost of being a high achiever? What is the cost of working constantly? What is the cost of putting all that pressure on yourself? Just weigh the cost. My relationships struggle. I beat myself up. Sometimes I can't sleep because my brain doesn't shut off. Just like be really honest about the costs of all of that. I don't know how to relax. Okay, that's the cost. Now, maybe you've earned some of it to go the other way. So
This is a really good point. And it is something that over the years that I realized I do as well. And I'm definitely not like an overachiever or a, super driven person. I think maybe in terms of comparing myself to some of the other people out there, I probably am. But one thing I do have a hard time with is actually not feeling guilty about taking a day off. And what ends up happening is when I finally do take a day off and I feel guilty about it, it ruins my day off. Like I'm constantly thinking about what I should be doing instead of what is happening in the present, And that definitely does play a toll. And the older I get, the more that I realize like that is part of my personality. And I've thought about this honestly, why I'm like that. Like, why can't I take a day off and not feel guilty? And I really do think that it comes from anxiety that I never really knew that I had. Like, I never really knew that I would put the label of anxiety on that feeling that I feel. But when I stopped and I really analyzed, why do I feel guilty when I'm not doing anything, when I'm just chilling? Why do I feel guilty? And I think it's because I apparently live my life in this sort of heightened sense of alert, right? I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. And that feeling over the years, because there's been plenty of times when the other shoe has dropped, right? But over the years, I've developed this like defense mechanism where I'm constantly trying to stay one step ahead so that that other shoe won't drop. And sometimes there is no shoe to drop, but it doesn't matter. My body still reacts the same. It's very hard for me I might sit here. Like I might like physically just sit on the couch and you might think I'm relaxing, but in my mind, I'm like playing through all of the what ifs. If I feel guilty, I'm like trying to find a reason why I feel guilty. And then by the end of it, I didn't waste my day off, but I didn't enjoy my day off as much as I could have. And maybe that is part of what I can attribute some of my success to is that heightened sense of awareness, but it's not fun. I'll say that it's not fun.
maybe you've earned the right to lie in bed till noon just because. And if you need to make it an equation, I earned this. You use the analogy of deposits and withdrawals. Like you've made so many deposits, you can draw a little, you can withdraw a little me
That's
time.
true. We never really give ourselves
You've
credit for
earned
that.
this, right? It's like think of it if you were a leader and one of your teammates works all weekend voluntarily to get a project done on time, right? You're going to say thank you. You're going to be like, great job. We couldn't have done this without you. And then you're going to say, if you're a good leader,
Take Monday off.
why don't you take Monday or Tuesday off to get your weekend back?
A lot of leaders don't do that.
You've earned it.
That is very true.
I'm not asking you to make.
So here's this other thing too, that I think at least American society, we're like workaholics, you know. We like that whole grind culture is a real thing. And I think that's where some of my anxiety comes from when I'm just sitting still and not doing anything, is because somehow over the years I have attached like my self-worth to my accomplishments. And it can even, like, it's not like woohoo, my huge accomplishments. No, it's just feeling accomplished, like crossing a task off the list. And I feel like a piece of shit if I go through a day and I have not crossed any tasks off the list. So I have taken my self-worth and how much I can get done in a day, and I have combined them together, and it is not healthy. So every human should just be able to chill once in a while, play a video game, watch a movie, relax. If I do that too much, I feel like I am a loser. And that's not fun. It's not good. It's not right. I'll tell you, I agree. It's not right. But it's just the way that I am. And apparently, according to this video, you know, which has several thousand likes, 1.3 thousand likes on it, other people feel the same way.
To pay a cost that I'm not willing to compensate you for. You gave me 2 days, I'll give you 2 days. May not be consecutively, but I'll give you back your weekend. Thank you. That gesture will make somebody feel seen and heard, and they will give you many weekends knowing that you're willing to keep the equation balanced. If you never give them their time back and now they're just working 7 days a week, they will either burn out or they will quit. So if we know that another person will burn out or quit,
it's good life advice, but it's also good leadership
then
advice.
How come, and it goes right back to yourself, managing yourself, lead yourself.
Dang.
You got to give yourself that time off, because
I like that.
That's the deal you make. If you're the friend to yourself and if you lead yourself.
That is such a good point. Like, if you are a leader of a company or you're a manager and you expect so much out of your personnel, your employees, you know when you're pushing them too hard and you reward them with time off. So why don't we reward ourselves with time off? No. It's like, no matter what, and this is the way it is with like so many things in life, we always think we are the exception to the rule, right? You know, don't park in this handicap spot. Well, I'm just running into the store, you know, on and on and on, right? And so this is the perfect example here. If you would push your employees to a certain point and then you would say, hey, they did above and beyond, they should be rewarded with some time off where they don't work and they don't stress, because they'll burn out and they'll quit. If you could realize that, then you should apply that to yourself too and say, hey, like, boy, I really put in some hours. I'm going to take a guilt-free day off this weekend and not beat myself up about it. But again, we always think we're the exception to the rule. No, I should work harder, you know? Yeah.
That's what you do for somebody else. That's what you do. Well, I'm not other people and I have. No, you are. You might have a little more grit than somebody else, but you don't have endless amounts of it.
Right. He's literally saying what I said. You're not the exception to the rule.
How do you advise people to manage the transition if a why that previously motivated them and fulfilled them starts to fall away? You mentioned yourself, there's this sort of sense of shame, guilt, of concern, wistfulness, I would imagine. Like, this used to be my thing.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me that the thing that gave me loads of positive reinforcement isn't my thing anymore.
Yeah.
And I have to go and find a new thing? That sounds pretty terrifying. So how do people who have lost fulfillment in their why cope with that transition?
Very simple.
He might not be talking about this, but this is definitely something that I have seen quite a bit, where people attach their personality, maybe not their why, but maybe their who. They attach their personality a lot to their work, right? And I do think it's getting a little bit better with more recent generations, like younger generations understand this work-life balance thing, where maybe like my parents' generation, I'm 42 by the way, my parents' generation and definitely their parents' generation did not understand anything about work-life balance. It was not a thing. And so when I was doing one of my last clinicals for my physical therapy assistant degree, it was in a nursing home. And so I got to, and I might have told this story on stream before, but I got to like meet a whole bunch of people that were sort of towards the end of their life. You know what I mean? They're kind of like in the waiting room, waiting for their number to get called to move on to whatever's next. And a large majority of them, when I would ask them what they did for fun, well, actually, I would ask them, what do they do for fun? And they're like, I'm in a nursing home. I literally just sit here and stare at the wall, which is really sad. So then I would say, well, what did you do for fun? And they would say, work. And somebody chat GPT this, because I'm sure it's a thing, but I never really looked into this. But anecdotally, it always felt like that generation, when they retired, quickly went downhill health-wise and passed away shortly after that. And I feel like it's probably because of they did not know anything else in life besides whatever their job was, right? You know, oh, they worked in a mill for 45 years or something crazy like that, you know, worked in the woods, etc. And so then when they either are forced to retire or they do retire, they have nothing left. And it just quickly is a downhill spiral. So I think it's very important that you have a different why to life than just what your work is, and a different why to get up every morning than just making money. Like, there's more to life than that. And you don't want to be that person when you are forced to retire at some point that you're going to die within 10 years after that because you have no reason to live. Don't be that person.
Answer. That was never their why to begin with. People confuse goals with purpose. It happens all the time. You see it in companies' vision statements. To be the best.
Yeah,
that's not a
goals and
vision.
purpose.
That's a goal.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, based on what metric that you chose.
True.
Right? So sometimes we have goals that drive us and they're exciting. But then what? And you see this very often with high achievers. So let's take extreme examples, right? Olympic athletes. It's just an extreme example. They're very goal-oriented and they've confused their goal with their purpose. My purpose is to win the Olympics. I love how they say that. I'm gonna win nobody wins the Olympics. That actually is you can't, there's no medal for winning the Olympics, right? But that's how they all talk.
We know what they're saying.
Right? And all of their lives are completely architected around this goal. All of their relationships, are you useful? All of their sacrifices, I missed Thanksgiving, I missed birthdays, I missed all of these things.
I'm very similar. Like, I'm not winning any Olympics or anything like that, but I am very similar to what I think he's gonna talk about here is like, if I have a goal and I achieve that goal, I don't really give myself a whole lot of time to celebrate it. I'm kind of like right on to the next thing. In fact, there will be a brief dopamine hit where I'm like, hell yeah, like I accomplished that thing that I set out to accomplish. And then maybe the next morning even, I wake up and I'm like, okay, now what? And it's not like I'm down the next day, like I'm not depressed the next day, but I feel like there's an emptiness a little bit. And I'm like, how am I going to fill that? What's the next goal that I can fill that emptiness with? And I'm aware of it. And I know that it's not good. It's not like, no, I don't know if normal people feel that way. I don't want to use the word normal, but like, I don't know if the majority of people feel that way. And sometimes I get jealous of the people that just go to work, come home, sit down on the couch, watch TV, go to bed, repeat, and they seem happy. And I'm like, that seems so easy. Why can't I be that way? I'm not, though. You know, and again, I'm not like some freaking 1%er or anything like that. It's just I somehow have this drive that I always need to have a goal. And when I don't have a goal, I feel awful. So
because I'm disciplined, and let's say they achieve it. Let's give them the success. They win a gold medal in the Olympics. And now they're too old to compete. The bodies are broken, whatever it is. Now what? And what you find, like, Andre Agassi becomes the most storied tennis player in all time. What happens right after he retires? Depression.
See,
Michael Phelps becomes the most medaled Olympian in history. What happens right after he retires? Depression.
that's what
You
I'm
know,
talking about.
my
Let's talk about
friend
with the old
who
people.
her entire goal of her entire life from Fargo, North Dakota, was to be on Broadway and become a New York City Rockette. She
Yeah.
achieved both those things. She became a New York City Rockette and she became a performer on Broadway. What happened right afterwards when she retired? Depression.
Mm.
We've confused a goal with purpose.
So
A
spot on.
goal is one of the ways, even if it's extreme, one of the ways in which we are looking to advance our purpose. But a purpose is immutable. A purpose does not change. Your purpose is fully formed by the time you're in your mid to late teens. Who you are is fully formed by the time you're in your mid to late teens, and the rest of your life is looking for opportunities to bring that cause to life.
Ooh, I like that.
Right?
I like that. And he's absolutely right. And I think I've known what he's saying for a while, but like the way he says it is like really, it's hitting home. It's really clear. But the difference between goals and purpose. And I think a lot of times I don't have my purpose really figured out. And so I'm searching for these goals and I'm like, maybe this is my purpose. Maybe my goal is to do this. And then I do it and I'm like, I feel like I still need a purpose. Maybe it's this goal over here. And then I do it and I'm like, dang. All right, I still don't feel like I have a purpose. Like, what is this life all about? Absolutely. But I guess I'd never. He's saying that you should have figured out your purpose in your teen years. I was too busy like being drunk in a field somewhere when I was a teen. So maybe that's why I feel like I don't have a purpose or that I'm still trying to figure it out. Maybe one day when I grow up.
Very common, and particularly in high achievers. And they confuse
What about
their
you, Chad? You got a
jobs
purpose?
with their purpose.
What's your purpose?
With their identity, right? So you see these high flyers who literally are afraid of not working because who am I if I'm not doing this thing? And they've forgotten that the thing you're doing is just one of the ways you can bring your purpose to life.
Mm-hmm.
So my why, my purpose is not to write books. My why is not to achieve some goal, some TED talk over which I have no control. My why is to inspire people to do the things that inspire them.
Okay.
That's why I get out of bed in the morning. That is permanent for the rest of my life till the day I die. Now, what are the opportunities that I can do that?
So is he saying his why
Some
is
of them
his
big, some of them
purpose?
small.
Is it,
Some of them
are they
risky, some of them
interchangeable,
not.
or is he dividing them, or is he
And I can
separating
have
them?
goals that motivate me in the middle of that. But if I pick a goal that's just for the money or just for the accomplishment or whatever, odds are the stress is going to be far greater than the reward
So
because
true.
it doesn't contribute to my purpose.
Mm.
And that's raises the second question, which is, how do I know when to quit? And some people have this.
I think that like another thing that's really playing into this is the fact that like a lot of times, like he's saying, people mix up their goals with their why and their purpose, which I think a lot of, at least Americans, we always seem to put our goals with some monetary value. Like my goal is to earn this much this year. My goal is to get that raise, etc. And I think it's because we have a very strong materialistic culture that really pushes that. Like if you're not out buying something, if you're not out earning something, then like, what the fuck are you even doing? Right? You're worthless, which is not true, but that's sort of the way that our society is. So then we're like, okay, I'm going to set a goal, make more money, do this, do that, and but they're very shallow. They're hollow. Like he's saying, he could set a goal to do a bunch of TED Talks and stuff like that and earn more money and whatever, but it's going to burn him out. It's going to wear him thin, and it's not really going to contribute to that feeling of his purpose and his why. So I would think one of the things I want to apply to my life, like listening to this, is I want to be sure that I set goals that are not just, like I was saying, monetary in value, but more so that my goals feed my purpose. And I don't think I don't know my purpose yet. It's sad. Like I do, but I don't, like I think I'm figuring it out. But I think those I want to call them short-term goals, but let's just call them like shallow goals. Once you check them off, they didn't really improve your life much. They really didn't like fill your cup much, you know? And so I think I want to be more selective about the goals that I assign myself, because if not, it's almost like I'm just going to give myself busy work, you know? And it's a distraction. So that's just me.
It's false belief that grit is the thing that makes you, and you never quit. That's stupid. Just as it is just as stupid as to say you always quit whenever it gets difficult. Both are the wrong mentality.
True.
My test is very simple. Does the sacrifice feel worth it?
Mm-hmm.
If the sacrifice feels worth it, because there's some higher goal you're trying to achieve, some higher purpose, not even goal, a higher purpose you're trying to achieve, then you better show up the grit and you keep going.
Yeah.
But if it just doesn't feel worth it anymore, it doesn't feel like I'm contributing to something bigger than myself, then it's time to move on.
That's basically what I was saying.
This episode
He
is
said
brought
it
to you
better,
by
though.
8 Sleep. If you
All these videos will be, all the links to the videos that I react to today will be in the description of the YouTube video, the full thing, when I post it over on my channel. So definitely go check it out. So, you know, let's chat about that one a little bit here. I saw the title of that and I was like, yeah, that is exactly how I feel. I feel guilty when I take a day off and I don't do anything. Like, why is that? Frankly, it's bullshit and it's not fun. But I think that I need to stop making junk goals. And I say junk goals, almost like junk food, right? You know what I mean? Like, my goals need to be a little deeper. And hopefully that helps me towards feeling fulfilled and like I had that sense of purpose figured out. If not, it's like I distract myself all day long with just checking off these goals that, you know, like if I died tomorrow, would I be like, oh, thank God I checked that goal off, because that was my life's mission, you know, to like write that paper or post that video or whatever, you know. And there's a lot of people out there that feel similar. So anyways, that was a good video. All right, so let's move on to the next one, which I don't even know what it is. So let's go right to the end here. I think it's gonna be a funny one.
Babe. Hey, what's up, babe? What you watching? Oh, no, I'm watching this YouTuber play this scary game, and she had got scared as hell.
Hold on. I gotta rewind this. All right, so this video is called "How Logic Leaves a Conversation When Women's Emotions Are Involved." And so I saw this like on Reddit, I think, and I looked at people's reactions, and it was pretty funny. So I was like, all right, let's watch this. So yeah. How logic leaves a conversation when women's emotions are involved. Again, it's made to be funny. So for all the ladies out there, all like 3 of you that watch me, before you're like in the comments, chill, just have a laugh. All right, here we go.
Hey, babe. Hey, what's up, babe? What you watching? Oh, no, I'm watching this YouTuber play this scary game, and she had got scared as hell. So she had literally... Oh, she got scared, like she flinched like dumb hard when it happened. Okay.
Friendly of our...
Okay, hold on. Okay, you don't got to do all of that. All of what?
This is so funny. So this is like, if anybody has had like a serious relationship before, this is like, man, like women have like this, like their antennas or like their radar or something like that. You could be like throwing out this like crazy in-depth story, and if you even mention a female in the situation at all, they're like, this is them. Say what? What's her name? Right? And you're like, what? No, I'm like, this is the story. Tell me more about this woman, right? So, oh, it's so true. All right, anyways.
All of that, like, you didn't have to laugh that hard. Like, I just think... I didn't even laugh that hard. No. You did laugh that hard. You did. I understand maybe you like watching her, and you like her, whoever she is.
Wait, hold on.
I know it's not because of that. You be watching God YouTubers all the time. Okay, yeah, I do, but I don't laugh so hard that I'm literally slobbering all over myself. Like you were
not even slobbering.
You were literally slobbering all over yourself.
How did I stop? What slobber on my shirt?
Okay, don't gaslight me. Just because your saliva dried up off your shirt by the time you just noticed it, don't mean that it didn't happen. I seen how hard you laughed. It literally happened.
You're doing way too much. That did not even happen.
Wow. So now you want to defend her?
I'm not defending her. I'm just saying
I'm not
going to
care about her that much.
to
You
my face
defend her
as if I don't know.
Okay. Listen, if you want to defend her that much, then go sleep with her. Then go sleep with her. I don't care anymore. I don't
sleep with her. What
I don't. Go ahead, sleep with her right now. Sleep with her right now.
What do you mean right now?
I don't care right now.
What am I going to do?
Sleep with her right.
Like, how does that make sense? Like, I'm a.
Oh my god.
Man, it was a joke. I'm saying like it's a phone.
Ain't no way you just had sex in front of my face. You're just going to stick it inside her? Like I'm not standing right here.
It's a charge.
You literally just stuck it inside her and her body shook. She shook when you put it inside of her.
The phone started charging. It
vibrated. It vibrated.
The phone was unlocked. You didn't even use protection.
My god.
Is your phone due for an upgrade?
I mean, I had it for a while, so I guess.
So you got her pregnant?
Oh my god.
It literally slipped out and you put it back in. You're disgusting. You're disgusting.
It's a phone charging.
Like in front of my face, that never happened to me before. And then just get her pregnant like that.
It's a phone.
No, because I know my worth. I know my worth and it's not.
I know my worth.
And it's not this.
Oh my god. Oh, all right. I'm glad I did that one. Cause that one did not disappoint for sure. It is funny though. Like sometimes, man, it's just the way we're wired. We're wired differently, and sometimes it's usually not very funny in the moment. You know, usually it's quite frustrating in the moment, but I think everybody can laugh at a video like this because it's obviously to the extreme. But man, sometimes you're like, how did you get like this and this? And how did you get here with what I just said? And then, yeah, don't ever question that mid-argument though, because it never goes well. But yeah, I thought that was a funny one. Like, everybody gets a little caught up in their feelings sometimes, right? And then you're like, you know what? The person you're arguing with, you're like, you know what? You made a really good point, but god damn it, I'm not going to admit that right now because I'm mad, and I'm just going to like embrace that anger, and I'm going to double down on it, right? It's almost like the dark side's taking you over. It's I feel the power of the dark side, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm right, even though you just proved me wrong. Right? And then the next morning you're like, oh my god, now I gotta admit to her that I was wrong, and that's never fun, right? So that was a good one. I figured it'd like add some levity to the situation. All right, on to the next one.
You're a man.
Hey, man.
So this one here, it's just called Be a Man. So this is the Dry Creek Wrangler School guy. I think his name's Dwayne, but this is not his channel. This is just, it's probably like some motivational clip. So anyways, let's get into it and learn how to be a man, apparently.
You're a man. You are a man. Stand up and be a man. Make the hard decisions. Make the sacrifices, make the unpopular decisions, and become comfortable in your own skin. And if you are not a person that you are comfortable being alone with, that is the one person in this universe that you have full power, full right, and full responsibility to change.
That is very true.
Every day. Yes, sir. Got a roof over your head. Yes, sir. Got clothes on your back. Yes, sir. Why you think that is? Because of you? Hell, I know it's because of me. But why do you think that is? Because you like me. Like you.
When do you become a man? When you get a driver's license? Like, what do we do? You 16, we give you a driver's license. Okay, well, wait, like, you get a job? Like, when do you become a man? You become a man when you become responsible for other people. And part of that is taking accountability. And so, like, I'm very new to this being a man thing. And I'm still not there. And I'm on a path.
I go out here every morning. I bust my butt putting up with them crackers every day because I like you. You're about the biggest fool I ever saw. It's my job. It's my responsibility. A man is supposed to take care of his family. You live in my house, fill your belly with my food.
You know, like, there's like these types of, I call them like motivational or hype videos. For whatever reason, I don't like it when they use clips from movies, because like somebody wrote that for Denzel to say. Like, it wasn't his idea that he came up with on his own. Those lines are not his, you know. So like the first clip with the Dry Creek Wrangler School guy, you know, that was his thoughts. He sat down in front of that camera and he's like, this is, I think, what being a man is. And then the next one was a clip from, it was an actor, Shia LaBeouf, I think. You know, it was an actor, but it was not scripted. He was still sitting there talking about what he feels like it is to be a man. And then, you know, this movie clip here, it's kind of like, meh, I'd sort of disregard that. But one thing that Mr. LaBeouf, weird last name. One thing that he said, though, that was interesting that I really connected with a little bit was, I'm not really sure, like if I was to look back, I'm not really sure when the defining moment was that I felt like I was a man, or like could call myself a man. I know like my gender is male, but like being a man, right? Like, when did I go from being a boy to a man? And he mentioned it like, once you start being responsible for people and taking accountability for something. And I think that's probably true. And I was actually thinking about this the other day, and I think I'm gonna do like an actual like long form video on this topic about loyalty. And a lot of people say that they're loyal, right? You know, it's like a badge that they wear. Loyal. I'm a loyal person. I'm a loyal boyfriend. I'm a loyal girlfriend, you know? And I don't think you can say you are a loyal person until you've actually had the opportunity presented to you to not be loyal, and you chose to be loyal. That means you're a loyal person. But you can't say you're a loyal person if you've never really had the option to not be one, right? It's kind of like if we look at this in terms of like relationships and cheating, right? Somebody could be like, I'm loyal, I'm not a cheater. Okay. Have you ever had the chance to cheat, right? Like, has that woman ever been like, hey, you want to come hook up? I know you have a girlfriend. I won't tell anybody. And you said, no, I have a girlfriend. I'm not a cheater. If you did do that, then I believe you. You are a loyal person and you are not a cheater. But if you have never had that opportunity presented to you, it's just theory. You haven't proven that you're not loyal or that you are loyal. You're just claiming something, you know? It would be like if I just randomly claimed that I could run some insane mile. Like, I'm a fast runner. I can run this fast. And somebody's like, oh, cool. Like, what race did you do that? Oh, well, no, I haven't actually done it. I just feel like I'm a fast runner. You know, it's I guess it's kind of the same for this being a man thing. It's sort of like you have to earn it. And I do think it comes from standing up and doing the hard things, taking accountability and taking responsibility for others. I do feel like that is what makes you a man. And until you do those things, it's not like you're a bad person or anything like that. It's just sort of, you haven't really earned that yet. You know, you haven't earned the ability to say that you are something until you have done something. Just my thoughts.
Put you behind on my bed because you're my son. Because I like you. Because it's my duty to take care of you. I owe a responsibility to you.
But I didn't have no, like, I grew up in a culture that told me going to war made you a man. Going to prison and coming back makes you a man.
What about that
making
last
$1 million
part,
makes you a man, you know? And it doesn't. And you don't know it till you done all these things and realize, damn, I'm still a little fucking boy.
Yeah. I agree with
I
that.
recorded my wife cheating on me.
All right, that's the next video. Before we get into that one, let's just talk about this last one that we watched. I think nowadays there is a lot of talk about what it is to be a man and to be a real man, and I don't want to hear it from anybody who's not a man, right? I don't want some woman lecturing me about what a real man is, because they have no idea. Just like I have no idea what it's like to be a female and navigate through this world as a female. They have no idea what it is like to navigate life as a man. We have our own set of pressures, just like they do, you know, and we can understand each other to a certain degree and objectively see what the other is going through, but we can't really feel it on a deeper level unless we are a woman or we are a man. And I think that the things that society used to tell us made us a man, they like no longer apply anymore, you know? They no longer, like society doesn't value them anymore. Before it was like, you go to war, you come back a war hero, like you're a fucking man, right? And now I still believe that, like that is my personal belief, you know, but now society is like, well, we didn't want you to go to war. We didn't want you to go to war anyways. It's like, well, neither did they. They didn't want to go to war either, but it's just what happens. Their country said, go to war. They went to war. But when they come back as like a veteran that served, it doesn't hold the same weight as, you know, like after World War II when all the men and stuff were coming back. It held more weight to say that you did that thing. And now I think a lot of those things that men used to do you know, you went from being a boy in society's eyes to them being a man in society's eyes, those like guardrails or those like something that pushes you the right direction, it's not there anymore. And then on top of that, most of us don't even have a father figure anymore. So society's not telling you this is a man, and your father's not saying this is how to be a man. So then you just have a bunch of boys that are just trying to figure their way out in life and fingers crossed, hope for the best. And it's tough. It can be tough. I don't have the answers to that. That's just my thoughts on that. All right. On to the next one. So you probably heard like a little blip of that, and I'll rewind it a little bit. So this is a little bit of a longer video, but the title of this one is He Caught His Wife Cheating. Yeah, that cannot be fun. So let's get into it. He caught his wife cheating.
And I can't stop watching it.
Let me rewind it so we can.
I recorded my wife cheating on me.
Oh,
and
recorded
I can't
it.
stop watching it.
He recorded it and he can't stop watching it. Holy.
Yeah, topsy-turvy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm locked.
Yeah.
Now I'm locked.
A couple weeks ago, I decided to surprise my wife with a kid-free night out.
Oh, God.
My parents live about an hour and a half away from us, and I arranged for the kids to stay with them for the weekend. Usually, when I go to my parents, I'm gone until later in the evening. We spent all day there and leave around dinner time. This time, I was dropping off the kids and immediately going back home so I could surprise my wife and we could go out as soon as possible. I had made
I literally already have a pit in my stomach. Like, just because like how it opened up, and the title is called He Caught His Wife Cheating. We already know from the beginning of the video that he recorded his wife cheating. So it's clearly not like he thinks she's cheating. He knows it. And now we are like reliving this moment. And I feel uncomfortable just sitting here, not even involved in the situation. It's already like making me be like, oh, bro.
Made reservations at a nice restaurant and was hoping to go to a few places for some drinks first. I left at 8:30 and was back in our house planning before 12:30. As I pulled up onto the street, I saw a truck parked in front of the house. I didn't recognize it. I assumed it was someone seeing the neighbor though, because it's not unusual for someone to park in front of our house. I parked a few houses away, thinking I would sneak into the house and surprise my wife instead of pulling into the driveway and going in through the garage. I went in through the basement door. I was as quiet as I could possibly be, but as soon as I walked in, I heard them making sounds on the floor above.
Oh my God.
My heart would be on the floor.
When I first heard it,
God.
I thought she was just by herself, maybe having some personal time. I didn't want to interrupt her privacy or embarrass her, so I was just going to go back in the car and just go in the garage so she would know I was home. Then I heard a man's voice. I immediately felt sick.
Yeah.
My heart felt like it was going to explode out of my chest.
I feel sick for him, you know, like hearing that, like, God, that's devastating. I'll just say, if this is true, right? Sometimes people write outlandish things and send them into a podcast or whatever. But if this is true, this man will never be the same. He will never be the same. All of his relationships after this will never be the same. Will he have good relationships? Sure. But he will never have that, we'll call it innocence. Like, that is gone. He now knows, without a doubt, how shitty human beings can be to other human beings that they say they love. And once you see that, there's no unseeing it.
It's hard to describe how I felt in the moment. I decided to go upstairs. I had no desire to confront them. I just wanted to see what was going on. I moved slowly and quietly and went up the stairs.
My heart's really beating. I'm not even joking.
When he said he had no desire to confront them, that's the right thing to do. I know as men, we're all like, oh, I would just fucking kick the door down and just start beating people and, you know, whatever. But you know what? That's how you get shot, or that's how you get stabbed. And you definitely don't want to lose your life over a female that just cheated on you and you're going to break up with anyways. So if you know, like, oh shit, okay, well, I know who you are now and we're going to break up, don't potentially risk losing your life over that. You know, it doesn't make any sense. And I know, like, it feels like a threat to your masculinity. Like, that man, like, defiled your honor, right? I get that. I'm not saying don't feel like you want to bust that door down and start beating people. However, it is not worth it. It's not worth kicking the door in and being like, what are you doing? And then he jumps up, grabs his pants, pulls a gun out, blasts you. And then you're like, great, I just died because of a hoe, you know?
My heart is literally beating out my chest as you speak.
It's nuts.
I'm really locked in.
I moved slowly and quietly and went up the stairs. The door was halfway open. The kitchen was empty, but I could tell they were in the living room. It was obvious what was going on at this point by the sounds.
Oh my God.
There was no way for me to look in the living room without me being seen. I pulled out my phone and opened the camera app. I put my phone just around the corner. I could see my wife with a man I didn't recognize. I won't go into detail on what they were doing.
Oh, I think we know.
You can figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
I started recording it.
Oh,
I was thinking that I need to record it. I need a record of it for whatever I decide to do with it in the future. I just stood there in the kitchen watching.
And what's crazy is like, I think recording it probably was a good idea. If there was like, I don't know what state he lives in, but like if recording it would help your case in the courts when you go to like have a divorce filed and stuff like that, that was probably smart for him to record. But then also, you know, for a fact that like, if he didn't record it, she would have been like made up all sorts of crazy excuses like, no, that was just the cable person coming to hook something up, and no, and they gaslight and redirect and deny. So you can't really deny video, right? Be like, nah, this was you, right? Looks like you, you know, but at the same time, no one really wants to see that. You know what I mean? You don't want to see your person that you say you love and whatnot doing that, you know?
And this all unfold on my phone screen. I felt like I could just scream at any moment, but for some reason, I just froze completely. This went on for several minutes.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
She finally jumped off him and made a comment about going to the bedroom, and they went upstairs. She even made a comment about how much time they had left. I walked into the living room and found the guy's pants. I took his wallet out and took pictures of his driver's license. I know his name and his address. I've never met him. I have no idea how he knows my wife either. I left the house the same way I entered. I went back to my car and cried like the pathetic man I am.
No.
I decided to watch the video to make sure I recorded.
Crying in that scenario is completely justified. It's devastating. When you find out somebody cheated on you, it's devastating. I can't imagine seeing it is, you know, that's how you find out, is by seeing it. Crazy devastating. You know, like in an instant, all of life's plans that you had, you know, we're going to do this, and then we're going to buy that house, and then next year we're going to do this, and then blah, blah, blah. All that, gone. Gone. In that instant, you don't have a future anymore. It's gone. At least the future that you had planned and were expecting, boom, wiped out. So, that's heavy. And very emotional. So, crying in that case does not make you a pathetic man. Just means that you lost something you care about. You know? There's no shame in that.
I watched it all. I sat in my car for at least half an hour. I couldn't drive to my parents and get my kids, as I would have to explain why. I decided that I would pull in the driveway, open the garage, and just pretend like I was there to surprise her. I took my time getting into the house.
Interesting.
I made a lot of noise. When I saw her, she was very flustered, asking me why I was home, etc. She was in a robe, and she said she was just getting ready for a bath.
God.
I told her about my plans, and she seemed excited. She poured us both a glass of wine, and she said we should pregame before getting ready. I don't think I talked very much.
Oh my God.
She
I'd be like,
took me into the living room. I'm not proud of what I let happen.
oh my God.
I'm going to read this a bit slowly.
Stop.
She took me into the living room. I'm
Oh
not
my
proud of what I
God.
let happen. I could faintly see the guy sneaking downstairs, going into the basement, but I didn't say anything or do anything.
Oh my God.
I just let my wife continue doing what she was doing to me.
Oh my God. That is. Whew. That's brutal. That is brutal. And this is, you know, maybe a hot take for some people, but the more trips around the sun you've had in your lifetime, you do realize that, I'm going to generalize, obviously, because not all women are cheaters and not all women do certain things, but females tend to use sex as a way of smoothing things over. Maybe not even necessarily as an apology, but as smoothing things over and a distraction. You know, it's happened a couple times in my life too, where then afterwards I was like, oh my God, that's why you were so insistent on whatever, showing me some affection or whatever. You know, it's like, oh, there was an ulterior motive. They know that it's, and this guy I think was just so mind fucked. He was just like, whatever, I don't even know what's going on right now. However, it is like, God, there's no honor in what she just did. And I just think maybe men would look at it a little differently, right? Like, she just cheated on her husband, and to distract her husband so that the guy could sneak out, she starts performing some sort of sexual act with him, right? Like, the other dude literally just pulled out of her, and then she went downstairs and was like, oh, honey, you're home. I love you so much. I'm gonna bang you. The other dude was just in there, and now the husband's in there. He knows because he caught them cheating, but if he didn't know, it probably would have made his day that she was like initiating and so forthcoming with sex. He probably would have been like, fuck yeah, this is an amazing day. Meanwhile, the other dude is sneaking out. That's just like some next level shit. Some next level shit. And I know men do some horrible shit too, but god damn, women can be cold.
Wow!
That's my response
Wow!
too. That's how I responded.
He was getting top from his missus, and then he saw next man walk out of his yard, and he just sat there and
Just took it.
oh god,
Just took it.
oh my god,
Since that day,
this is really real.
yeah.
Bro.
Since that day, I've watched this video of her repeatedly. I can't bring myself to make any decisions on what I should do next. She seems to know something is wrong with me because she's asked me a few times if I'm okay.
Oh my god.
I feel worthless, and
can't
every
believe it's
time
still
I
with
hit a
her.
low point, I watch the video again.
Oh my god.
I feel like I've watched it at least 10 times a day since I've caught them.
Jesus, 10
What should
times
I
a
do?
day.
Question. Do you reckon he's fapped to it?
Let's answer that one.
Oh, Christ.
It's dark.
It's dark, but I
10 times a day, you man.
yeah, I think he's probably. I think he has, but in like a crying state.
Yeah, like a
type of-
shame.
Oh my god. Anyways, so like this is their reaction to that video, and we don't need to go into it. Like, if you want to watch their reaction, the link is going to be in the description of the YouTube video. But yeah, let me give my thoughts on this. So just to recap, this guy plans a thoughtful, kid-free date. I think he said with his wife, but definitely with his girlfriend. Surprises her, and in surprising her, he stumbles into her having sexual relations with a dude, a random dude. He's records it for, I guess, evidence, and I'm thinking some sort of like a divorce thing, but he records it, and he can't stop watching it. And some people might be like, you know what, that's like gross, I wouldn't do that, whatever. But if you've seen the show Black Mirror, I think it was maybe season 1 or maybe even season 2. It was like early into the beginning of Black Mirror. And they have this thing where they can, like, in this episode, they can implant this little chip, and they have this like little remote thing, and anything that their eye sees, it's like recorded in sort of like this like hard drive in the cloud or whatever. And so you would think that would be a great thing. But anyways, this dude, it's something like a cheating scenario, and the guy in Black Mirror like constantly rewinds until he drives himself insane. And I think probably more men would have that reaction than they think, you know. Um, and I don't know even why. I think it's just you're trying to piece together what is happening and make sense of things. And I think that it's almost like revisiting the scene of the crime, kind of, you know. It's definitely not good. And if he's not going to use that video in some sort of like a divorce case, he really should just delete it, because he is torturing himself, and nothing good is going to come of that, you know. It's really sad. If this is true, this could be like a completely bullshit, you know, thing to write into a podcast, make a story up completely. But if it is true, it's really sad. You know, I feel for the guy. You know, that's all I'm gonna say. I feel for him. So, but again, we're gonna skip them going through their reactions, and we're just gonna go on to the next video. So if you want to check out that podcast, that clip from that podcast, and their reactions to his question, I guess, his story, check out the YouTube description of this video. I'll make sure I put it in. I'm gonna subscribe to that podcast because it sounds like it's a pretty interesting one. Okay, I don't know what the next video is, but let's see.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Courtney Ryan, and today
all right, so this is Courtney Ryan. This is her channel. She does like a channel on like men's advice and stuff like that, all the way from fashion, dating, cologne, whatever. It's like a female perspective, right? And this the title of this one is called Smart Men Avoid Women Who Do This. So let's find out what this is.
we're going to be reacting to a TikTok. So we're going to watch together, and then I'll share my thoughts per usual.
It's going to ruffle a lot of feathers, but it's for the greater good, so I don't really care. If you're a girly that is venting about your dating life on TikTok and sharing it as a diary series, you've got to stop, because you are scaring away potential very quality men for yourself.
Yeah, and the little text on the screen says, the best dating advice that none of your friends will tell you. Okay, so first off, this whole dating diary or dating wrapped trend on TikTok has absolutely exploded. Women, and sometimes even men that I've seen, will share their full-blown breakdowns of their dates. And also...
Yeah, I've seen this quite a bit. I think it's more on the women's side doing these things. They also do, like, there's also a trend, like, basically divorce diaries, right? Where women get on there and ugly cry, and then other women are like, yes, queen. What's really interesting, though, I wonder if there's like is there a male version of when women get on social media and ugly cry? You know, like, what's the male version of that? I'm really curious about that. The other thing too, which is like, it's so interesting to me, because like these women will get on there and they'll like make these ugly cry videos where they're like crying about getting divorced, and then all these women in the comments will like be like posting all of this supportive stuff. We all know the only reason those other women are following that woman that's posting herself crying is so that they can feel better about their life. They're not supporting her. They're not actually happy that she's getting a divorce. No, they're actually like taking pleasure in watching how miserable this other female is, and because it makes them feel like their life isn't half bad, right? But the person posting the ugly crying video reads these comments and they're like, oh, I'm getting so much support. People love me. They want to see me happy. No, they actually don't want to see you happy. They want to see you crying more, which is why you get so many likes and comments on the crying videos. Because it's not out of love and not out of support. It's literally them being like, yeah, bitch. Aha, you know, as they sit on the couch and do this with their hands and eat chips or whatever. Like, look at this bitch, you know? Oh, yeah, girl. Eat more. You look beautiful. As they're like as long as she's fatter than I am, you know, like it's crazy. It's not coming out of a place of support. So anyways, if you have the male version of those posts, you know, those clips, those TikToks, the male version of ugly crying, I want to know, what is it? Leave it in the comments.
Just breakdowns. Who ghosted them, who love bombed them, what went wrong, what they wore, how they felt, how many people they've been with that month. It's like a reality show meets therapy session on TikTok. I've even seen people sharing screenshots of messages, which feels like such an invasion of privacy to me. I don't know, you can let me know what you think. I've actually reacted to a handful of videos like this in the past of people just sharing their dating experiences. So I'm sure that you've seen it before. And I get it. Dating is hard. Sometimes you feel like you're going crazy. And I'm sure people just want to feel seen. And posting something on the internet can feel like you have a community and make you feel less alone. However, I think there's a fine line between expressing yourself and then also broadcasting your vulnerability in a way that might be hurting your chances at attracting the type of relationship that you actually want.
Yeah,
in the
no
video,
one wants
she
to
said
show
you're
up in someone's
potentially
TikTok
scaring away
video.
very quality men. And do I think that's true? Honestly, yeah. You guys can let me know how you feel about it down in the comments from a male perspective. But here's my opinion. If you are looking for a man who is intentional, emotionally mature, and serious about building a future with someone, there is a very good chance that he is going to view those types of videos and think twice. Not because you're being honest, honesty is great, but because it signals a lack of privacy, discernment, and maybe even some emotional processing that hasn't been worked through yet. It is honestly a little, in my opinion, immature. I mean, think about it. If a guy's getting to know you and sees that you have publicly documented every date gone wrong or right, he might worry, is she going to talk about me like this? Is she going to make me into content? Does she really even want a relationship? Or is this just part of her brand now or her shtick on social media? I mean, that's just human nature. Men and women.
Exactly. No guy wants to be content for some woman's TikTok. It's crazy because I know people in real life that have like thousands of followers on TikTok. And you're like, how? Why does anybody listen to what you have to say? Right? Because we see behind the camera. But on this side of the camera, no one gets to see all the bullshit back here. You know what I mean? Like they don't see the off camera stuff. They just see whatever comes through and gets posted. Have you ever been out to like a park or something like that and seen a group of girls like trying just to take pictures, and they take like 80 pictures, different angles, holding the phone different, hat on, hat off, you know, whatever. It's just to post one on Instagram or on TikTok. It's crazy. Like, social media has not done anybody favors, and I think it has hurt women the most. It's just, I think because in general, I think women care more about attention and validation, and that is what these are. It's attention and validation in your pocket all the time. And it's like drug.
Women both do this. If a guy had a whole series on trashing women that he went on dates with, most of us would probably feel weird about it too. I feel the same way about those bizarre, are we dating the same guy groups on Facebook? My God, it is seriously weird behavior. Some of the stuff I see in there, I'm just appalled by. And
so I don't know if you know about this, but there's like Facebook groups. Maybe they only exist on Facebook. I'm not really sure. Maybe Reddit, I don't know. But there's Facebook groups where the whole purpose of the group is to see if the person you are dating is also dating other people. And I know like in cities and stuff like that, it's more common to be in like a dating phase where you are dating multiple people and then you go exclusive and you date just that person. But in more rural small town areas, you don't really do that in my experience. You sort of casually date one person at a time, and then if it's going well, you become exclusive, etc. So in these groups though, it is basically a shit show. Like, people posting men and then just like making completely unsubstantiated claims about them. Sometimes not. Sometimes it's like, here's his mugshot. You know what I mean? Like, that's proof. But like some of the other stuff, I'm not like a lawyer or anything, but it kind of seems like slander or defamation when they are basically just talking shit with no proof. You know what I mean? Like, he's a scumbag, he's a cheater, he's this, he's that, whatever. I don't know. You know, I don't think it should. Part of me is like, I don't think those should exist. But the other part of me is like, I don't think they should have to exist, right? Be a good man, and no one's going to have to question if you're a shithead. But at the same time, every woman thinks every ex they've ever had is a shithead, right? Because, you know, feelings get hurt. So are we going to believe everything somebody says about their ex? No. You know, like, it just feels gross.
It's crazy, but that's for another time. But another point I want to touch on is that venting online doesn't always help you heal. It can actually trap you in a cycle of victimhood or attention seeking, especially if you're getting validation from thousands of people saying, OMG, same girl, or all men suck, you're a queen, he fumbled the bag, instead of actually doing the inner work to ask, why do I keep choosing the wrong people? Yeah. Why do I ignore
Why
red
they keep
flags?
fumbling me?
What role have I been playing in this? Healing doesn't have to be loud. Growth is often quiet. I don't think you need to make every single lesson into a post. Some things should be just for you, or maybe a therapist or a close friend.
Yeah, like, this is the thing with social media too. And again, I do think that there's always this joke, like, women hang out, when they hang out one time, they hang out together and they take like 200 pictures, right? And then the guys hang out and they have like one picture of them together from 15 years ago, right? It's just the way that we are. It seems like females take more pictures and post more than men do. And it's sometimes I'm just like, can you just eat your meal without having to like take a picture of it and post it? It's such bizarre behavior that I don't really feel like is going to get better, because social media is not going anywhere. It's out of the bag at this point. You can't put it back in, you know? But yeah, not everything has to be a post. I like to think of it this way. When I'm looking through Instagram and I'm scrolling and stuff like that, do I personally care about what somebody ate? No, I just scroll past it. So why would I post what I'm eating when I know 90%, 99% of people are just going to scroll past it because they don't care? I'm going to keep that to myself. Maybe I'll take the picture, but I'll just keep it on my phone. I don't need to post everything I do online. And I don't think most people do, right? We don't live that interesting of lives.
Who loves you and knows you and has your best interest in mind. And this isn't just about dating. I think people have gotten way too comfortable sharing private parts of their lives online in general. I've seen married women talking about their husbands in ways that are honestly so disrespectful, airing out arguments, complaining about their marriage, sometimes even mocking their partner in front of a camera for likes. And I don't care how relatable you think it is. In my opinion, it's not cute, it's not funny, and it's definitely not respectful. I think some things are meant to stay between you and the person that you're dating or in a relationship with. And if you want a man to trust you, to open up to you, and to feel safe building a life with you, he needs to know that you're someone who protects your relationship, not someone who turns.
I think that's also kind of interesting too. She's talking about like not sharing personal things about your partner with your friend group. I think women are horrible at this, right? Like, women, when they get together, they'll lay it all out there, right? Like, if you're dating a girl, all of her close friends know how big your dick is. You know? Now think about it. As a man, how many of your close guy friends know how freaking tight her box is, right? You know what I mean? Like, we don't share that stuff. Women are like, okay, he did what? And then what? He put it where? How long did he do it for? It's like, whew, holy shit. Now, if you've ever texted a girl anything, all her friends have read that text. So don't be sending any dick pics because they don't want them anyways. But just know their friends are probably going to see them too. Anything you send to a girl, text or pic, whatever, her close friends are going to read it or going to see it as well. Keep that in mind.
Into content every time things get hard or you have a minor inconvenience or argument. I don't know. I just find this whole phenomenon to be in such poor taste, personally. Again, you guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. If you're someone who feels like sharing your experiences really helps you, maybe try journaling privately or create content about what you've learned. I think there's a huge difference between here's how I healed and what I learned from a toxic pattern versus, so last night this guy ghosted me again and I'm spiraling. Here's our entire text thread for strangers on the internet to see.
Yeah, but she's also like Courtney's coming at this from making the mistake of thinking the people that are doing this and posting all that online are like well-adjusted, deep, thoughtful human beings that have lots of hobbies and interests and layered, no. These are basic bitches. You know what I mean? Like, these are just basic bitches. And this is what they live for.
You see the difference? I think one of the biggest issues with this kind of content is how it comes across to other people. Again, there's a difference between someone who shares insight from a healed place versus someone who's emotionally dumping all over the internet. One creates
emotionally dumping is a good way to put it.
People things, and the other just looks chaotic. And I say this with love, but when I see someone publicly documenting every high and low in their dating life, it doesn't scream emotionally mature or relationship ready. It honestly comes off like that person is a bit of a hot mess. And if I'm someone looking for a healthy, stable relationship, I am staying far away from that.
That's such
but
good
again,
advice.
That's just me. Maybe you guys feel differently. But if I had a friend doing this and they asked for my honest advice, I would tell them to stop. And maybe that's a part of the problem. I think a lot of female friendships operate in a space of sugarcoating where we're more focused on making each other feel good in the moment
100%.
than telling each other the hard truths that we actually
100%.
probably need to hear. I've talked about this before, but
she might mention this, but this is so true. Like, a woman can be like, Seth broke up with me. And her friends will be like, oh my God, why? And the girl will be like, well, I cheated on him. And her friends will be like, girl, yeah, but I'm sure you had a good reason. He really should have done something more, or this or that. It's like, what the fuck? Now, flip it around. Guys like, so-and-so broke up with me. The guy friends are like, fuck, dude, what happened? Well, I cheated on her. The friends are going to be like, what the fuck you expect, man? Like, that's what happens. They might not like berate him, right? But they aren't going to support it either. They're not going to be like, you know what, man? I'm sure you had a good reason to cheat on her. They're just like, that's what happens, man. Fuck around and find out. Like, you cheated on her. She broke up with you. You got caught. That's what happens. Women, like she's saying, sugarcoat it. Oh, you didn't. I know you think you did wrong, but somehow you didn't do wrong and he actually did wrong instead, girl. No, that's like, I feel bad. I feel bad that women have that dynamic with their friendships because I rely so much on my friends, like, telling me how it is. They're like my sounding board. If I ask for advice, I expect advice back, like legit advice. And I feel like a lot of times when women ask for advice, the things that come back to them are just whatever their friends think they should hear to make themselves feel better, like to avoid discomfort. Men don't avoid discomfort. We're like, straight into the discomfort. Let's get through the other side. And I don't think it's that way with females in general. Hot take, I also think this is why a lot of females don't have a whole lot of hobbies, because in the beginning, whenever you start something new, depending on what the hobby is, but whenever you start something new, you suck at it. And sucking at something is uncomfortable. And working hard at something and being awful at it for months at a time before like you get better at it is hard. And I think that that's what turns a lot of women off to hobbies instead. It's like, no, I'd rather stay in the bubble of safety and comfort than subject myself to uncomfortableness and misery. And I don't think that men are not like that. Men, for whatever reason, we like that challenge of overcoming that misery. And so like we sign up for that shit, you know? Like I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 21 years or something like that. And it takes forever to get even remotely close at being good or proficient. And even then, after 20 years, you get smoked some nights. You know what I mean? It's just how it goes. Not a lot of men can handle that difficulty. Not a lot of women can either. But it's a special breed that can sign up for that and show up every single day or every single night or every weekend, etc., to put in that work. You know, the people that go to the gym, it's the same thing. In the beginning, everything feels heavy. Actually, if you go to the gym and lift weights, it always feels heavy, because as soon as something feels light, you add more weight. You know what I mean? It's a certain type of person that willingly signs himself up for that.
I really do think women often give each other terrible advice when it comes to dating, and a lot of it completely removes any sense of accountability. Instead of, hey, maybe stop choosing emotionally unavailable men, or recognizing the patterns that you're falling into when it comes to dating, it's, no girl, you're just too intimidating for him. That's just an example that I see pretty commonly, and it might feel supported in the moment, but I don't think it's helpful long term, especially if your goal is to grow and to attract something better.
I hate that saying. When women say that men are intimidated by them. No, we're not. And like, I'm not some crazy Andrew Tate fan, but he had a funny way of saying it that made me like chuckle when I saw a clip of it or whatever. And it was about this, when a woman's like, you're just intimidated by me. And he's like, why the fuck would I'm paraphrasing, why the fuck would I be intimidated by you? You got no hands. And what he's saying is like boxing skills, right? Because he's a kickboxer or whatever. And it's true. Like, and I think maybe like women don't necessarily understand that as much, because in their social circles, like the threat of violence as problem solving doesn't come up as much in men's circles, right? Like, I mean, think about how many times you've like either played in a pickup game of basketball or like hung out around a pickup game of basketball. Like, fights break out there all the time. So when two men have conflict, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but when two men have conflict, violence is like this far away, right? When two women have conflict, it's not even usually like in the equation. It's not even like a significant possibility of happening. So they don't think that way. Men, when I talk to another man, I know that I have to be careful of what I say, or I could get punched in the face, right? So like my actions when I'm dealing with a man, my actions can have consequences real quick, right? So then when you take a female and a male and you put them together, we're still on that level of like, we're having a conflict right now. Do I need to worry about physical altercation? And if we're having that conversation, that argument with a female, we're not worried about it. So we're not going to be intimidated. Like, intimidated to a man is like, I know that other man can fucking beat my ass, and he's intimidating. That's intimidating to a man. If another human cannot beat you up or physically hurt you, men are not intimidated by it. There might be another word for it, but it's not intimidated. I can promise you that.
And to end up in a better relationship. Most people don't just end up in a healthy relationship on accident. They don't get there by continuing to fall into the patterns and the unhealthy relationship dynamics that they've been doing their whole life. But I think the girl in the video is right. The best dating advice that none of your friends will tell you. I want to look at the comments on this video to see what other people are saying. Let's see. Every time I see a girl giving a breakdown about their date / getting ghosted, I'm just sitting there thinking, what you're doing right now is exactly why you got ghosted.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. It's not about being wife material. Some girl had like 2 million views after a first date with my brother. He really liked her, but she posted his text, pics, and was like, if anyone is dating him, tell me before I fall in love. And he is private and reserved. He thought she could be the one too.
Wow.
Yeah, it just feels like a violation of privacy.
Yes,
like,
it absolutely
I would be scared
is.
to even talk to anybody because I would be worried they were going to post our screenshots online. Even if you're not saying anything bad, someone could easily delete messages, change things up, only show certain parts of the conversation.
Yeah, context.
To make it look like something that it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people are just so willing to do low bar things for content these days.
100%.
Some guy said, OMG, finally someone said it. Emotionally mature men don't find complaining and hating on men or dating men on TikTok as something a quality mature person would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she replied, honestly, I wish girls would be more honest with one another instead of being so worried about hurting their feelings. It's so true. As a woman, I can say that that is so incredibly true. I think a lot of men don't necessarily know that. I think female friendships are often very different than male friendships. I think men are just less worried about hurting each other's feelings
100%.
and are just more honest.
Straightforward.
Not everything has to be online, and what people decide to showcase online says a lot about them, both positive and negative. As a man, I couldn't agree more. It's a shame the women that need...
And here's like a little bit of a tangent, but going back to that whole thing about like when men ask for advice from other males, we're expecting straight talk. I ask for advice. I want straight talk. When females vent or ask for advice from their friends, like she's saying, they often get sugar-coated responses that are maybe not the most helpful, but do make the female feel better about whatever the situation is or feel better about themselves. And I think this is... Men, we sort of get to see this dynamic play out when a female we know or our significant other comes to us with a problem and we're like, okay, here's how I would solve it. And they're like, whoa, you're not listening to me. And you're like, I am listening to you. You said this happened and you need this to happen. So I'm saying, this is what you need to do to fix it. I'll even fix it. Nope. You're not listening to me. I just want you to listen. Okay, you just want me to listen to you tell me about a problem that I know how to fix, but you don't want the answer. So I think this is what potentially could happen if their female circle reacted the same way that men react to each other, right? Like if a female was like, girls, this is my problem. And instead of sugarcoating the response, they said, okay, well, here's some solutions. I really wonder if they would if they would feel like their female friends are not listening to them. If they'd be like, you're not listening to me. I just want you to listen. Or if they would take that advice. It might just be a thing because like they're so used to females presenting their advice sugar-coated that when men present our advice not sugar-coated, it seems weird. When in reality, this is what we're used to. And it seems weird to them because they're not used to it. That makes sense.
To see this will not or simply don't care. And again, I know my audience is 95, 96% male, so a lot of you will probably watch this and be like, you're preaching to the choir, girl. Why are you telling us? You need to tell the girls. But I hope that maybe some women will see this video and click on it. But also, it's something to be aware of as a man as well. I think when you see women posting this kind of content or just people online posting content in general, it can say a lot about them. The content that people post online, even if it's not necessarily what we're talking about here today, does say a lot about a person, both positive and negative.
Yeah.
And it can be either a red flag or
it's so true. Like if I'm like going through TikTok, which I only go through TikTok when I'm looking for content for my videos, because I'm just probably too old for TikTok, to be honest. But if a girl is sitting in her car, I'm already like what you're about to offer me in this TikTok video, I have my expectations real low. Because if it's just something about it, like the be in the car. Girl, and the seatbelt's here. Girl, I just went on this date. You would not believe, right? I'm like, fucking skip, right? So I think what she's saying is true. Like, the stuff that people post online is a little bit of a little peek in the window of like who they really are as a person. And sometimes that means she's just really not that good of a person. So it is what it is.
or a green flag. And in my opinion, I think posting this kind of content that we're talking about specifically in this video is a red flag. It's so weird. Normal everyday people are sharing way too much personal stuff on here.
Yes.
Someone said, who cares about being wifey material though? LOL. If they get scared that easy, let them go. She replied,
oh my God.
If they're going on dates to find a life partner, then venting that they can't find a life partner, I'd say they definitely care. My biggest fear is meeting a girl that vents to TikTok. So what do you think? Do you agree with what she said in the TikTok? Funny. Has this ever happened to any of you before on either side of the equation? I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences down below in the comments. If you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, also be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan.
Go follow her.
With all you guys over on there.
She puts out good video.
Well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.
She puts out good content. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Seth. If you got something out of this video, if you liked it, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe for me. Really do appreciate it. Really helps the channel out. I do post one more serious long-form content video per week on the YouTube channel. And then I post one reaction style video like this each week as well. So go ahead, check those out. And I appreciate you all. See you next week. Peace.